What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing our most requested Madden 23 rebuild so far in Madden 23, and that is the New Orleans Saints. I have had a lot of suggestions for the Saints. I haven't been ignoring you. It's just, you know, from a rebuild standpoint, Saints tend to be one of the cheesier teams. It's a great offense, and there's a lot of star players already in place, but with a lot of question marks surrounding the quarterback position, surrounding the fact that if you don't win early, you're going to start facing a little bit of regression. Michael Thomas is kind of up or at his ceiling to a certain degree. You look at the defensive side of the ball. You have, Demario Davis, Honey Badger, Cam Jordan, like some of the premier players on the defensive side of the ball. They're at the tail end of their careers or just kind of nearing their primes. So if you're not, you're going into year 3, year 4, still have no Super Bowl victories, it absolutely will turn into a very challenging rebuild. Plus, you throw in the fact that their salary cap is pretty bad, and it makes for, again, a challenging rebuild. Luckily, they hit on 2 picks, 2 rookies from the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. Trevor Penning at left tackle is a 73 hidden dev. Chris Olave, excellent wide receiver out of Ohio State, is a 76 hidden dev. And you're really looking at this team being like, we're not going to dog Jameis Winston here, but maybe they're a quarterback away from truly contending and competing and winning another Super Bowl. So that is what we're going to do here today. Over the next 5 years with Madden draft classes, we're going to try and turn this Saints team into Super Bowl champions. As always, fellas, if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to take and hit 1,000 likes on every single one of our Madden 23 uploads. And make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below about what team you want to see rebuilt next. I'll tell you right now, we're leaning probably Houston, maybe Washington. But let me know in the comments. What is going on with this guy's jersey? Huh? What is going on with that guy's jersey? We do have a training camp standout, which is always a pretty nice boost. I'm gonna guess Davenport. Yes, it is. Marcus Davenport, one of our impending free agents that you commonly see available on the open market, which leads me to believe that this salary cap situation for the Saints is pretty dire. But we'll take that +3 power and +3 finesse moves for the potential breakout defensive end. Let's break down this roster a little bit more in depth. We do have Andy Dalton with the mentor tag behind Jameis Winston, so Jameis Winston will be getting extra XP every single week here this season. But, I mean, unless he balls out this year and goes up dev trade, I think the reality of Jameis Winston developing into our franchise quarterback for this rebuild is certainly unlikely, or he has a long ways to go. Especially at 28, quarterbacks are probably going to stop developing. He might even start facing a little bit of regression within the next year or so. So, I mean, that is obviously the biggest position that we're going to have to figure out for this rebuild is the quarterback spot. And, likely it will be through the draft that we try to replace. At the running back room, we have Alvin Kamara. No suspensions in this world, so that's great. He's 2070 Superstar X Factor. Absolute baller, I will say, as someone that drafted Alvin Kamara in the second round of my fantasy draft and promptly traded him after week 1. Do they just not know how to use him? Like, it looks like disgusting usage in real life is in store for Alvin Kamara this season. Easily the best, pound-for-pound best player on this team, at least on the offensive side of the ball. And we're going to maximize him. We're going to absolutely let him try to go off, be a little Christian McCaffrey. You got Mark Ingram, who's a great running back, too. Good veteran at this point, has the mentor tag. So Alvin Kamara probably got two more years left of good growth. We'll take those extra XP gains that he'll be able to get from having Mark Ingram on the roster. The wide receiver room, we got Michael Thomas back, healthy, superstar, physical. I mean, yeah, it's good. You know what I'm saying? 29 years old, not ideal for a 5-year rebuild, but there's probably a shot that he goes this full 5 years with our team. We have Jarvis Landry, veteran, Deontay Hardy, who's more of a return specialist, but he looks pretty damn interesting. 24 with a 77 overall and a star dev. I honestly think the best plan of action for this rebuild is in the slot spot. I do think Juice is just, a 1-year deal. I think we go Hardy at slot. We go Olave and Michael Thomas on the outside, even though Thomas, the slot memes. But, I don't see how Jarvis Landry getting him a lot of meaningful reps year 1 is going to help this team year 4, year 5, right? And then you got Olave here, 22 years old, 76, hidden dev, deep threat, the rookie out of Ohio State, great speed, 93 speed, 95 acceleration, great catching. Good agility, just a really well-rounded receiver. Started in real life very nicely for the New Orleans Saints. Looks like he will be a big-time player and right in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then you got Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, a decent wide receiver. I wouldn't even say decent, that's disrespectful. A good wide receiver room here for the Saints, as long as all these guys stay healthy. Tight end, you have the gadget player in Taysom Hill, but you also have Adam Troutman here. Solid. He was solid coming out of Dayton. He was one of the more underrated tight ends that year. So, I don't really know what we'll do here at tight ends. Like, do we really think Adam Troutman will have a breakout? Or do we just say, screw it, let's rock and roll with Taysom Hill until we get our long-term solution, probably via free agency at the tight end spot? So, we'll probably likely go Taysom Hill as our starter this year. Offensive line, we got Trevor Penning, who will clearly be our day one starter at left tackle. The rookie out of Northern Iowa, absolute monster. Kind of like John Runyon-esque, very gritty player, to say it positively. 72 with the hidden dev, 6'7", 335. Great athlete as well. This guy here looks like a pink slips left tackle. On the rest of the line, he's solid. You got Andrews Pete, very expensive for his rating and his ceiling, but he's a solid left guard. You have Eric McCoy, 80 star dev. He's another guy, much like Davenport, always in free agency, which makes me worried that we won't be able to retain him here in this rebuild. Maybe not. Maybe we'll be able to make a couple moves, and because I definitely don't want to let a young star dev, one of the better young centers in the NFL, leave. I'd like to keep him. We have Ruiz at guard, another player, 74 with that dev trait, high ceiling, should be here for the full rebuild. Right tackle, we have Ryan Ramczyk, one of the best tackles in the NFL. He's 89 with that superstar dev, only 28. So I really do think center, right guard, right tackle. I'm going to try to prioritize keeping all those guys together. And then luckily with Penning, he's on the rookie deal. So the offensive line, for the most part, is in place. It's ready for this rebuild, which is good because it's not really the most exciting rebuilds when a top priority is like, let's use all of our high draft picks drafting guards, interior linemen, stuff like that. I like being able to now, it's like, all right, we need a quarterback. We need a defensive end. We need to get Cam Jordan's successor, but he's dope. He's dope for the time being, 33 years old, X Factor. Guy you can pretty much rely on. Craps out 10 sacks, double-digit sack seasons. On the other side, this is where they made a big investment in Peyton Turner out of Houston, so it kind of makes sense that they would let Davenport go. But, Davenport, 25 years old, star dev, very, very freaky athlete for his size and build. You don't really want to let that walk for Peyton Turner, who's 70 overall with a normal dev. He's not working with a whole lot, at least as it relates for a five-year rebuild. Maybe if this was like an in-depth, you're playing every single game and you could use your own and get some sacks. But as it stands right now, I don't see the path of him becoming a premier pass rusher. But I could certainly see the case for Marcus Davenport. But again, it's all going to relate to the salary cap, which we will see at the extension part of year one. Inside, we have from Manitoba up here in Canada, David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle. Generally speaking, that D-tackle room, probably could improve that a little bit. Same with the linebacker core. You got Caden Ellis, the left outside linebacker. Demario Davis, superstar, but he is 33 years old. And Pete Warner potentially could be a little bit of a breakout. DeMarco Jackson has great stats. He was on the Pink Slips team. You have Zach Bond, kind of a hybrid player, linebacker. But Pete Warner, there's a high ceiling there potentially. He can pop a dev trade. This is one of those guys I could see him being an X factor when all is said and done come year 5. Great skill set here for the former Ohio State Buckeye. Corner room, we have Marshawn Lattimore, one of the better corners in the NFL. He is 26 years old, 91 with a superstar dev. And I'll just got to say, from a neutral standpoint, his rivalry with Mike Evans is awesome. Must-see TV every single game. Bradley Roby, good veteran. Paulson Adebo from Stanford, 23 years old with the star dev. He should be here. Hopefully him and Lattimore are two fixtures of this secondary for the entirety of the rebuild. You have the Cookie Monster, Alontae Taylor from Tennessee, versatile player. A lot of people weren't sure if he was going to be corner, if he was going to be a safety. Another guy that I absolutely think, is when it comes time to, do we have to re-sign Bradley Roby? I think that we got a player here in Alontae Taylor, be it at corner, just as a general DB in this rebuild. We're going to try to keep him around, going to try to develop him. Safety room, they signed Honey Badger in free agency, and yes, he's 30. While the regression is going to start hitting, as long as he's here, as long as he's an X factor, he's going to be an impactful playmaker for this team. Strong safety, got Marcus May coming over from the Jets, Florida Gators, another very solid player. Got two veterans here at safety. Where the safety room is going to be in year 3, year 4, might not look pretty, but for the time being, it's pretty solid, and we'll rock and roll with those guys as is. Special teamers, both of them are very solid. So all in all, we have a very, very well-rounded roster, playoff caliber roster. Just some pretty clear question marks at the quarterback spot. And really, I think the biggest worry outside of the QB spot is the veterans. our salary cap and our window to win with these veterans with our given salary cap. I think that's going to be it really reminds me of like when you rebuilt the Eagles over the last couple of years, where it's if you're not winning early, things could get messy. And like, you know, a lot of rebuilds, year 3, 4, and 5 are your strong years. And if we don't do this properly, years 3, 4, and 5 with this Saints team could be our down years if we have bad regression, if we can't draft well, and our salary cap situation doesn't improve. So without further ado, let's get into year 1, see if we can fix the Saints. Our season goal for year 1, I think we kind of got to commit to the playoffs here. All right, this makes sense. I was like, how bad's this salary cap got to be? We're looking at the contract extension point. Clearly, if we had money, we'd be prioritizing Hardy would definitely get a contract. Davenport would definitely get a contract. But we are almost $10 million over the salary cap. Huh. I will give him his flowers. Jameis Winston earned himself a breakout quarterback scenario after a Week 10 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll bring it live here, man. If he can earn it, that'd be awesome. I mean, he's a good guy. He's kind of like a goof. But, like, I feel like Jameis Winston, you know, the crab legs, all that stuff coming to Florida State, wasn't really a super likable player. And I think he's grown on a lot of people, myself included, as a neutral that has, like, no real investment in him. And unfortunately, in his breakout game, we're on the losing end, 35-70 to the Rams. Doesn't mean he didn't hit it, but it's probably pretty like, whoa, what? Jameis Winston shines in defeat up to a star dev. All right, Jameis had another breakout scenario. We lost. Last time we lost, he hit it. This time it's to go from star to a superstar. And unfortunately, a little bit more of a humbling experience this time as Winston does not go up to become a Goldie boy. And year 1 for the Saints comes with an NFC South title, going 12-5, probably surprisingly finishing ahead of the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, 12-5 was not good enough to get us the 1 seed, and we're going to have to run the gauntlet against a very tricky 9-8 Detroit Lions team. Looking at the stats, Jameis Winston went up dev. I mean, that's not a bad year, all things considered. 4,500 yards, 34 touchdowns, 10 picks. I think if you told Saint fans right now, that's what Jameis would get you when all is said and done, you'd be like, yes, that is all we're asking of him. Running the ball, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns for Alvin Kamara. He had 6 vultures for Mark Ingram. On the receiving end, 97 catches, 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns for Michael Thomas. So he's back. We got almost 1,100 yards on 85 catches, 6 touchdowns for the rookie Olave. Outstanding. Not as much. I mean, Kamara did his job as our, do-it-all type weapon. Pete Warner, great year. 135 tackles, 5 TFLs, 3.5 sacks, 2 picks. Hopefully played himself up a dev trait there. Over 100 tackles for Demario Davis. Outstanding from Cam Jordan. 66 tackles, 17 TFLs, 21.5 sacks, 17.5 sacks for Davenport. We have zero chance in re-signing that. Unfortunately, he's going to get an absolute bag on the open market. That's a $100 million contract, likely. Honey Badger led the team with 3 interceptions. Not bad for his first year here in New Orleans. MVP goes to Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. And looking at the rest of the awards, Cooper Kupp Offensive Player of the Year. Alvin Kamara coming in at number 7. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Aaron Donald. Cam Jordan is the runner-up. And then we got Chris Olave, Offensive Rookie of the Year. So that should likely be a dev trait increase for him, going from star up to a superstar. I don't think we're going to have anything else. Outside of Cam Jordan getting D-Lineman of the Year. I mean, great first year. Honestly, exceeded my expectations. I thought this was 9-10 win team. Did not think we would be able to beat the Bucks, pretty much the Patriots with Tom Brady year 1. But we did. So let's see if we can get a little bit of playoff momentum with Jameis Winston. Can he be a guy that gets us a playoff victory? Holy shit. They dropped 52 on a solid defense. 6, that's like happens, this is like, are we sure we're not doing like a Lions rebuild? This kind of game happens against us, not for us. 300 yards, 6 touchdowns, 100 on the ground for Kamara. 3 for Hardy. Jesus, man. Kamara dominant out the backfield. What a game. And it punches our ticket to the division round to take on the Bucks. Get to find out right away if we truly are the better team of the two, or can old man Tom Brady hold off Jameis Winston? And they pretty much give us a receipt from our Lions victory as they kind of rock us there. 45-14. Wheels fell off for Jameis Winston. Damn. Hate to see it. Great first year, though, all things considered. Year 1 Super Bowl goes... That's not how they started this year in real life, but the Bengals, 41-35 over the 49ers. Joe Burrow gets the MVP, so they get back-to-back Super Bowls, finally get over the hump. looking at our roster as we clear out the lockers. What are we looking at as far as dev traits are concerned? On the offensive side of the ball, Chris Olave gets his superstar dev for getting Offensive Rookie of the Year. No other regression to be had, so that's a win. Trevor Penning comes out star dev as well. He was a hidden dev rookie. On the defensive side of the ball, we maintained both Honey Badger, Cam Jordan kept there. Obviously, Cam Jordan dominated. Really surprised Davenport didn't go up dev. 17.5 sacks. And we did get Pete Warner from a normal up to a star. So all in all, we had a regression there. Demario Davis from superstar down to a star. But I think generally, really a good first year here for the Saints. Now it's how can we navigate this offseason with no salary cap? Maybe we can make a couple cuts to give us some breathing room. I don't know. Man, there's not a lot of wiggle room here for this roster. We give it to Granderson, which gives us about $3 million. What are they thinking with Taysom Hill? Huh? What's going on there? Way too much money. And we got about $17 million of salary cap by just trying to trim this roster down as much as we can. And as far as it relates to free agency, pass rusher, because, Davenport's gone. Had an interesting one here in Bryce Huff. He's a star dev 25, but, it's one of those things, do we gamble? At least give 1 year for Peyton Turner to justify his draft selection. What if he has a year like Davenport? What if it's just whoever plays on the other side of Cam Jordan breaks out, and maybe we get a chance, Peyton Turner, 1 year to starter, pops a dev, and, we have a cheap pass rusher on the team. I feel like that's probably a little bit better gamble than, say, Bryce Huff here, sorry. And then the other spot would be outside linebacker. We need somebody that can play on the other side of Demario Davis and Pete Werner. Not really much. I feel like the draft at this point would likely be our best spot. Keep that $17 million cap room so that next year we can actually re-sign some players in season. That's my plan. We have Cedric Ruiz coming up on his 5th-year option. We'll go ahead and pick that up. Get him to a long-term contract extension sooner than later. All right, we're going to move up into the second round with the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to give our second this year, our third next year to move up, which is expensive. But as we mentioned, our biggest needs, one of them is outside linebacker. Corey Harrison was there's two guys. I had two guys outside linebacker. One was Corey Harrison, who was a first, second rounder. Obviously, we don't have a first round pick in this year's draft. So I was like, as soon as he would go, I would make a move up to get the second highest graded linebacker on our board, which is David Nash. I don't know if we had to, but there's too many times where you sit and wait and you lose on this guy. He's 6'2", 230, B pursuit. We don't know a lot. We're picking blind. But first, this guy has to be, if he doesn't pop with the depth trade, it's going to be another ho-hum pick. If he does pop with the depth trade, absolutely worth the trade up to make sure we get his service, because we need a day one starter at that linebacker spot. I don't really know if it could be Zach Bond. And it's not even just for a 1 year starter. We need 2 linebackers eventually because Demario Davis is going to retire. Please have a depth trade. I'm closing my eyes right now. Please have a depth. Fuck! Come on, man. Ooh, okay. Couple average picks in this draft, but at least we can brag on this one. Peter Marsh, right guard. More so as soon as we can get out of Andrews Pete's contract. We're going to have to. And he pops with a hidden dev. Wasn't an easy selection. He showed he had A awareness, A pass block, and his bench press wasn't horrific. And he ends up being a great player. Draft recap time. We need to get a high rating on that linebacker. He's like in the 60s. All right, 71, trading basically a third round pick to secure a 71. He's a day one starter for us. I legit think that's the highest rated left outside linebacker we do have on the roster. And he's just missing a dev trade, honestly. Everything but a dev he has. So hopefully he plays a lot, gets a lot of tackles, maybe gets defensive rookie of the year, goes up a star dev there. I got a tight end here. I thought actually he was going to be a lot better than what he was, so that's why I didn't really showcase this selection. But he's still solid. More so, again, you look at, with this selection, it's like, all right, eventually we can get out of Taysom Hill's ugly contracts. Let's kind of get our next tight end in order. Same with this one. I think we can get out of Andrews Pete's ugly contract sooner than later. We got Peter Marsh, 72, hidden dev, which is our best draft pick. And when you have limited picks, limited salary cap, hitting on some steals here is almost a mandatory thing you have to do. We got James Riley, pass rusher, just had a good combine, 62. And we finished up with a fullback, a Devontae Springs. But we got, between Nash and Marsh, 2 rookies that might see the field sooner than later. And just to be like, I thought I was right. Harrison was our top target at linebacker. He's the reason why we traded up. He is a 75. Just be star. Just be star because we can live with it. Because he was like one of those ones I was like, man, should I trade up? Should I not trade up? He's 75. Oh my god. We're down bad, man. Literally yesterday I recorded the Panthers episode where we passed on the X Factor quarterback. We are on a cold streak here, drafting players. Year 2 for the Saints, and here's how our team looks and shapes up. Chris Olave getting a full season as a superstar dev wide receiver. I think between him, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, our skill positions there should compensate for really our lack of like a dominant tight end. We're going to get Marsh here starting at left guard over Andrews Pete. Again, it's just, let's move on. Let's rip that Band-Aid off and hopefully be able to release Andrews Pete by the end of this offseason for some cap relief. On the defensive side of the ball, this is where it changes up a little bit. Warner now with the star dev, Demario Davis, Nash, the player we traded up for. Even though he didn't pop with the dev, still 71 for rookies, a good rating. He's going to start day one outside but linebacker, and we have very high expectations that he can shoot and have an opportunity to get defensive rookie of the year and go up a dev trade. We got Honey Badger, May, Lattimore, Bradley Roby, Adebo. I mean, I feel pretty good with our corner room. Cam Jordan, dominant, arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL last year. Peyton Turner, big season for him to prove that he can step in and fill the shoes of the 17.5 sacks that we lost with Marcus Davenport hitting free agency. And, I mean, D-tackle, we just signed a couple out the street here, Shelvin and Marshall. That'll be a spot that is definitely the weakness of this team, and we'll have to try to prioritize next offseason. But, again, at least for this first year, we had no first-round draft pick and barely any salary cap, so it's tough to, do a whole lot of damage. But year 2, team's still pretty damn good. Given how we finished last season, I think our goal, and I think our goal, honestly, for every year of this Saints rebuild is going to be making the playoffs. All right, this could be huge. We have started the season 0-2, but Peyton Turner, guy that we have very high expectations for, arguably the highest expectations for, has an opportunity against the 2-0 Bucks to not only help us get our first victory of the season, but to get off that normal dev and to go up to a star dev. Now, it's a shootout, so I doubt we hit this, but we'll check. Crazier things have happened. Damn it. I feel like this is going to be a rough year. All right, let's take a look at our contract extensions. First up, we have Cam Jordan. Pretty much need to pay him what he wants. He is electrifying until he retires. And I think he's just going to keep shitting out 17, 18, 19, 20 sack seasons. So that was important to get him locked in. Jameis Winston, the fact that we're week 12, we have 2 wins. I think it's time to move on. And at the end of year 2, we, honest to God, literally nothing changed from last year. We're the worst team in the NFL. We just lost to the Lions, who were like right above us with 4 wins. This was 3-win 32nd ranked versus 4-win 31st ranked Lions. And how much did they put up on us? I don't think they 34. They blew us out of the water. Just makes zero sense. And you have Taylor Heineke like playing like the MVP candidate. 4,200 yards, 21-21 for Jamie. Yeah, he's gone. Kamara had a decent year. At least he got his 1,300 yards, 16 touchdowns, respectable year. 1,300 yards for Michael Thomas is respectable. Troutman, solid. Olave under 1,000 yards, but I mean 8-9, given how bad the offense was. That's not a bad season. Hopefully he doesn't lose that superstar dev, but he might. Might have to expect that. Defensively, Pete Warner continues to be a tackle machine. Demario Davis and Marshawn Lattimore going over 100. 10 sacks, Cam Jordan, 16 TFLs. Great year for him. And the kicky monster, Alante Taylor, led the team with 3 interceptions. Yearly awards MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts, runner-up. And in the NFC, just looking for some Saints here. Any Saints? No, because we were god-awful. Let's get to the end of the season. Hopefully it's not a complete massacre of our dev traits. Year 2 and we can all celebrate the Bengals winning back-to-back Super Bowls and at least beating the Cowboys. That's always a slight win. And I'll tell you right now, surprisingly enough, I had to take a little sneak peek, not giving you my honest initial reaction. Didn't lose a single dev trait on offense or defense. That is a win. Did have we got some money. Taysom Hill and Cam Jordan stings. We do not have a pass rusher in place to take over for him. But there's going to be a lot of salary cap now available for the Saints this offseason. We get an Andrews Pete's contract. Still, taking a little bit on the chin on this one. But we'll take it. Still net positive. We're going to swing for the fences here on our first free agency. Nick Bosa has hit the open market. We have to find a replacement for Cam Jordan. We came in with a ultra player-friendly deal and able to secure the services of Nick Bosa. But really, it was a swing for the fences where maybe quantity over elite quality could have been the best approach this offseason so we could get multiple positions. I think just having Nick Bosa in the room, we have the #1 overall pick to go grab either a pass rusher on the other side. There's an elite D tackle. There's a couple top 5 projected quarterbacks, but we got our pass rusher. I want to do something I've been thinking about doing, a little outside the box thinking. We got Chase Claypool here. That's easy. I mean, he's an interesting. I was thinking about, I would just put Mike Evans on the team, have fights every practice. But I'm going to offer a contract here to Chase Claypool with the intentions, I'm going to move him to tight end. And you know, I have noticed they've nerfed the jump that wide receiver used to get when they moved from wide receiver to tight end. But he was an 82 wide receiver. That'll do. What a boost. 87 tight end for Chase Claypool. The final part of our offseason, we have a 5th-year option for Peyton Turner. Honestly, was not impressed, so he's going to have to earn it this year. All right, we're on the clock. First overall selection, and we're moving on from Jameis Winston. There's 2 quarterbacks for most of this draft process that have been considered top 5. Oddly enough, the one that looks the best fell out of top 5 projection, and that is going to be John Spikes. I think he looks a little bit more well-rounded than we do have in Ron Carl at a Bowling Green. So John Spikes, sounds like a porn name. 6'2", 225 out of Oregon State. Elite throw power. Combine looks good. Give me a dev. Let's go. We went all the way to the 4th round, and we took a flyer on an undersized D tackle, Rayshon Denard. 6'6", 295 out of LSU. Local kid, and he popped with I actually was like a panic pick. There was 5 seconds left on the clock. And he wasn't even our best available, to be honest with you. And we got him, hidden depth. And then late, we just need a depth linebacker, Shaq Creighton. First in the 40, first in 3-cone, first in the shuttle. And he pops with a hidden depth. So when all is said and done, the fact that we were able to get out of this draft with 3 hidden depth players made the #1 overall pick count in getting a 75 hidden depth quarterback, John Spikes. I mean, I don't know if those 85 quarterbacks exist. I don't know. You guys can let me know if you've drafted any of yours. But just really weird skill set as well. 89 acceleration, 94 change of direction, 85 agility, only 78 speed. 76 strength's pretty high for a quarterback, but his scrambling stats aren't great. He's just like an explosive athlete. 87 throw on the run, 94 throw power. He's kind of awkward, to be completely honest with you, but we'll absolutely take that. And then we got Denard, who we're going to be moving into defensive tackle. He is 66, a power rusher. He's got an opportunity to play right away. Let's see if his rating takes any sort of a bump, moving him inside. 68, awesome. So that's a buff. We got Javier Rivers, 69, and he's normal dev. And then Creighton in the 6th round. He did pop with the dev. 63 is a little bit on the low end, but this is kind of just straight up drafting off of combine only. We didn't have any scouting done, so you can't be too picky. Here's our year 3 New Orleans Saints squad before we hop into the debut game of Spike. We'll get on the sticks. I gotta see what the Spikes guy can do. Kamara, Thomas, Olave. Now we got Claypool at tight end. A position change I'm pretty confident we'll be able to make the transition to. Offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. Defensively, we're going through a little bit of a transitionary period, but we have hidden dev D tackle now. We have Nick Bosa stepping up for Cam Jordan. I'm not going to say it's an upgrade. I don't want to disrespect Cam Jordan, but I hope it's an upgrade. Honey Badger's still there. Werner, Davis, and Nash at linebacker. We should probably take Creighton here and just move him up the depth chart a little bit. May, Adebo, Lattimore. Alontae Taylor went up dev, and actually Bradley Roby lost his dev. We did not get out of last season without losing any devs, but they pretty much flipped them, and I'll take that, the younger player with the dev trait. And honestly, I mean, I'm not going to... The first 2 years, we all set our goal as clearly, let's make the playoffs. This is a playoff caliber team. We'll dial it back just a little bit this year. Last year was pretty humbling. We'll go 7 wins with the rookie quarterback. But speaking of the rookie quarterback, we start this game on the road against Dallas, and I think it's time to hop on the sticks to see what this kid can do. There we go. Good first throw. Throw it early and often to 13. Yep. Mulligan. There we go. Good grab, Claypool. Got to get a touchdown on this drive. We'll go no huddle. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Let's go. First touchdown for Spikes. Gives us a much-needed boost here. Sign of life from the Saints. Come on, Claypool. Hey, what a dot. And we pull within one score before halftime. Great throw. Olave, middle of the field. See, that last interception, too, is like Michael Thomas telling him, like, feed me, kid. And he's, the quarterback's not old enough, wise enough to know that, you know, 31-year-old Michael Thomas isn't always open, even though we might just try him here again. Well, there you go. Now we know we're going against Dallas, so they're most likely going to be able to tie this one up. Or take the lead because of the fucking... Oh, my God. Every rebuild... There should be a way that I loaded this game up and I just get rid of... Like, give the Cowboys playbook an appropriate playbook. Because the Cowboys playbook is... There's no rhyme or reason for it to be overpowered. The Dallas Cowboys... When was the last time they had a good game plan? I want something magical. Something magical. Spikes! Damn it! Fuck the Cowboys, man. That's all you can say, man. Their playbook sucks. Dallas sucks. They're not doing anything this year. And if you like the Dallas Cowboys and you like me, you're cool. But you're also probably a terrible person. No. A little gander here at our free agents. We got a lot that I don't really want to leave the building. We have $107 million of salary cap as well. So we got Paulson Adebo, kind of a homegrown talent player. So we'll offer him, I think, a generous deal, and he can go F himself. We have up next Cesar Ruiz. I definitely want him just see if we can give him the 3-year deal, keep him for the remainder of the rebuild. Got him locked up. He's a good guy. He knows what it's about. We have Honey Badger at corner. We'll offer him a 2-year deal because he was already interested in kind of retiring. We have Michael Thomas. Honey Badger, that is, retiring as a member of the Saints. Give Michael Thomas a fair deal. I think he's just continuing to crush it. I think we could probably do better than Marcus May, especially 2 years. He's probably going to be below an 80 overall when this offseason hits. Pete Werner's been a great linebacker for us, so we'll offer him a player-friendly contract to get him locked up. Really, the only guy that's pissing me off a little bit is Adebo. I really thought he'd want to stick around. Too bad. So sad. Get out of here. In the season, we finished 6-11. Our goal was 7. So I guess technically we finished below, but we had a top 5 offense. Then we had a top 5 offense with a top 5 passing offense with a rookie quarterback that was the #1 overall pick. I got to take a peek at the dev. I have yet to see his dev. I think it's star. It is, but I think, you know, maybe kind of sort of gets the dev if he gets offensive rookie of the year, which could be ideal for our team. We'll look at the other dev traits of the rookies in just a second. But let's see how year 1. We'll ignore Sam Darnold crushing it. My God, 5,100 yards, 43. He might be an X factor. I could see a situation where his stats get him a dev trait scenario, and then offensive rookie of the year gets him a dev trait scenario, and this could end up being an X factor quarterback. Also, might not be. 15 picks, a little high. Everything else absolutely outstanding from John Spikes. Great year from Alvin Kamara, 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, 1,800 yards on 121 catches. Where's this offense been? Jameis Winston, is that just the answer? Claypool had an outstanding year. First year moving to tight end, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Best year of his career. Maybe he belongs at tight end all along. Olave with a solid year, respectable season. Kamara adding almost 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he's well over 2,000 yards for scrimmage and 20 touchdowns. Demario Davis, final season with the Saints. Maybe I could have looked at bringing him back because he has the mentor tag. We'll check maybe before he hits the open market what it would cost again. Warner over 100 tackles again. 15 sacks. Nick Bosa, excellent. Literally no one else did anything. And Lattimore with 5 interceptions, the leading team. I would have been very upset if it was Adebo who was there with 5 because he pretty much told us to go F ourselves. MVP goes to Joe Burrow. Oh, Spikes at 10, kind of getting the honorable mention there. Offensive rookie. No, what? No way. There's no way. Joey Moore. Let's see. We gotta see what that what? There's no way. Alvin Kamara got running back of the year, but he's already on X Factor. More. Okay, so we have 43 touchdowns, 43 touchdowns. We'll say 5,100 yards. What did this guy for the Packers do? Out of Jackson State, huh? Jackson State producing guys like this, huh? Deion Sanders got the plug there to get that kind of guy there, huh? Year 3 finishes with our divisional rival, the Tampa Bay Bucks, winning the Super Bowl 35-14 over the Colts. Antoine Winfield Jr. is the MVP. And taking a look at our dev traits. To close out year 3 on the offensive side of the ball, Spikes is up to a superstar. Awesome. I mean, look, this is just a great, this looks like a franchise quarterback right here. John Spikes, Oregon State. Earned it. I mean, luckily, the Jackson State, White Lightning there out of Jackson State crushed it. Michael Thomas goes from superstar up to an X Factor. Claypool goes from a star to a superstar. So he might have just untapped a new monster at the tight end position there. Great skill position players to build around our young quarterback. On the defensive side of the ball, Denard was a hidden FD tackle. He just came out as a star. We lost our dev trade on the road. I mean, he was never going to play, so I suppose I'm not going to be too critical about him losing his hidden dev. He was just like a last round pick. Marcus May lost his star dev, and Marshawn Lattimore went up to a superstar dev. Okay. So I was willing to spend a whole lot. Wasn't a whole lot there. So we're going to look at getting a pass rusher and Azeez Ojulari, formerly of the Giants, currently with the top bid there. And then Greedy Williams, bring another LSU kid back home. And I feel confident with both those offers. We only get Greedy Williams. So, I mean, of course, Claypool is good because this is like my time that I could freaking sign Kyle Pitts. But, it's one of those things where it's like, let's save our money. It'll roll over. And maybe next offseason, it'll be 3-4 big name guys that we could try to land. Happy that we at least got a replacement for a Debo and a guy that actually wants to be here in Greedy Williams. And our final piece of business before the draft is we are going to pick up the 5th-year option on Chris Olave, who has been absolutely outstanding for this rebuild. The same can be said for our other first-round pick, Trevor Penning at left tackle. Has been every bit the franchise left tackle we hoped he would become. Pick 5 is up here in the draft, and I really had 2 positions that I wanted to try to address with our first-round picks, either D-tackle or getting an edge rusher on the other side of Nick Bosa. Jared Jackson here out of Penn State. Looks pretty solid, man. A power, B tackle, B block shed, and he has the combine. Or I wanted to get a pass rusher on the other side of Nick Bosa, and I got the stats. 3 straight Bs, B block shed, B pursuit, B tackling for Buckner. Pass rusher out of Alabama, 6'4", 265. Looks really good. The combine, though, lets him down a little bit. The bench press is good. That's something that looks, you apply that to a pass rusher and not, off-ball linebackers. It's one of those things where, I feel like Buckner will have the higher rating. Jackson might have the better shot at a dev trait. Oh, it's a tough call. My head's saying Buckner. My gut is saying go for the dev trait guy in Jackson. But it's like, well, if, Buckner has a dev, 3 straight Bs for a pass rush. I'm going to do that. Man, we got a Val pass rusher over D-tackle. We'll go Jason Buckner, and he at least pops with a dev trade. I'm firmly expecting, though, him to be 73, 74, 75, somewhere in that range for a base rating. At least we're able to come right back and get a nice defensive tackle prospect here. We have Jeff Murphy out of Utah. A tackle, B block shed, and the combine, second in bench press. Top 10 in both those categories. He's going to be, again, high rating player. Maybe not the dev trait, but I think we're going to be talking about a guy that's going to be at least a 70+ for his base rating. Could use another linebacker as well. We're moving on from Demario Davis. We got Mario Barclay here out of Vandy. A pursuit, A zone coverage, and the combine. Top 10 in the 40. First and 3-cone, first and 20-yard shuttle. This could be, no dev trait. Again, should at least be a high rating. We only have 2 wide receivers on the depth chart, so let's just grab some freaks. First up, we have Reggie Beck. Second in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle. 4.38 speed. Stats look pretty bad, but I mean, for wide receivers, I can tell you right now, what I've learned in Madden 23, just draft straight off combine. They're going to be good. 96 speed, 95 accelerate, 96 acceleration, sorry, a little dyslexia there, 95 speed. We just got another one of these freaks, Chad Bolware, 4.24. First, give me the dev. No dev. That's actually very surprising, but 98 speed. Why do I keep saying that? Why is the dyslexia? I'm not even. I feel for people with that. I don't have it. 98 acceleration. 97 speed. All right, so take a look at our draft recap. We only got the one player with a dev, and that is Buckner, who the guy that I was like, I don't think he's going to get a dev, is the only guy that pops with the dev trait. And he's likely going to be, well, we're going to make him our left pass rusher. He's going to play the other side of Bosa there, which hopefully, can get us back to that year one, man. We had that production with Cam Jordan and Davenport. We need to see if we can get that. Murphy, 76. So like everyone else, Barkley, Beck, Ballware. I did think the wide receivers might pop with the dev because they were so freaky athletes, but we have high base overall players with no dev traits, which is fine. If they get rookie of the year on either side of the ball, they'll get that dev trait scenario. Happy with this draft. Very good draft here as we gear up for year 4. Year 4 for the New Orleans Saints, and here is how we're shaping up. Offensively, we're running it back with the same team. Offense was outstanding last season. We just added a couple speedsters at wide receiver. Look at this, though. On the defensive side of the ball, we unveiled the dev trait of Buckner. It's superstar. We will take that every day of the week. And hopefully playing on the other side, Nick Bosa, if he gets defensive rookie there, that is an X factor. 2 X factors on either side, rushing the passer. Very, very happy with that. Murphy, going to be able to slide in right next to Denard. He's actually our D-tackle 1. So I'll take, what was that, a second-round pick? Greedy Williams is our lone big free agency signing. And, yes, linebacker could be better. Didn't properly replace Demario Davis, but there wasn't really much there at linebacker to do so. We actually got Barclay here. It will slide in middle linebacker. He was technically, when I drafted him, I thought about potentially him being the replacement for Demario Davis. So we'll go ahead and do that. Barkley will go inside. We got Nash. Geno Stone at safety. We could even consider moving the Cookie Monster back there, but I think he can kind of hold down the slot role. All in all, goal this season, take the next step. This team is better than what it was a year ago. So now, for year 4, it is making the playoffs. Midway of year 4, we're disgusting 1-6 somehow. So that's going to get me a certain way as we look at our contract. Luckily, we have $49 million, which is not crazy, but it's more than enough money. I would love to keep Cookie Monster here if he wants to stay. We'll up that offer just a little bit. And he does, and obviously Alvin Kamara. We need him for this whole rebuild for the most part. He's a superstar. Give him this contract. Maybe he needs to go fuck himself also. All right, offer him very player-friendly deal. We got him to sign on the dotted line, which leaves us with enough salary cap probably to make 2 big free agents, like 1 big one. We might be able to get like an X factor somewhere, and then like a superstar. We very disappointingly finished this season 6-11. Our quarterback that had 40-some touchdowns last year, I'm going to guess he regressed immensely. He did. 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, 15 picks for spikes. Might lose his superstar dev. Kamara was decent. Michael Thomas went over 1,000 yards. Defensively, got a bunch of tackles. 13 sacks, Bosa, 12.5 from Buckner. So at least the pass rush. Even Murphy, 7.5, 14 TFLs for the rookie D tackle. Our D-line's on point. Our secondary was average. Just our offense absolutely took a step back. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. Looking at the individual awards, didn't have nothing. What a fucking shit show. Well, at least there's some good news. Dallas lost in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. What a boring Super Bowl. And as far as dev traits are concerned, offensively, no regression. So we can hopefully just fucking figure it out and run it back next season. Nash went from normal up to a star dev. Lattimore did lose his superstar, but generally speaking, wasn't a lot of regression. So let's do what we need to this offseason to put this team over the top and give us a chance year 5 to try to win a Super Bowl and salvage this rebuild. We're really going all in. We got DK Metcalf, Jordan Davis, Kyer Elam, and Devin Lloyd. Oh, who we got? We didn't get Jordan. Wow, Jordan Davis kind of flipped us the birdie. All right, we'll double back. We literally might as well spend all of our money if we can. We got Daron Payne as an X factor. We have the top bid on Daron Payne, and wow, okay. Maybe we won't be able to leave here with a D-tackle up. And we need a D-tackle. Both our D-tackles played well. It's just, stuck on the normal dev. But, okay, we'll take that, man. Not bad. DK Metcalf, Kyer Elam, Devin Lloyd getting better on both sides of the football. Really, we just first-round picks the only one that matters in this draft. Let's try to grab ourselves a D-tackle. Montel Bethel out of Miami. Look, really 3, 4 solid-looking D-tackles. We'll go with the guy that has really good stats and pretty good combine. Damn it. Can't draft all-star D tackles unless they're like those 370-pound ones. Take a look at the draft. Recap. I mean, he was a baller. Bethel 75 with the normal dev. Rest of the draft, I mean, at this point, you're just kind of filling out the depth chart. Year 5 for the Saints. This is our final submission with as much all in as we could get by bringing in DK Metcalf. But take a look at the squad. Offensive line should be one of the best offensive lines in the league. Claypool, Olave, Kamara, Metcalf, and Michael Thomas now in his more natural slot position should absolutely wreck shit for John Spikes, our true successor, better than Jameis Winston, maybe the guy that can be, you know, like I said, true successor to Drew Brees. Good player. Get back to throwing 40 touchdowns, please, is all I could say. Looking at the defense, we brought Devin Lloyd in, very serviceable little linebacker. Go with Nash and Werner. Honey Badger, we're going Alante Taylor at safety, Kyrie Elam, Lattimore, and Greedy Williams at corner. Nick Bosa, Murphy, and Buckner who absolutely dominated last season. We have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. There is no rhyme or reason why this team isn't minimum 10-11 wins and giving us a chance to win a Super Bowl here in the playoffs. So that being said, it is now time. And there has been some people I see in the comments suggest that like maybe there's something in the sim that when you set your season goal, it affects your wins and losses. I don't know. I can't really attest to that. But hopefully it does, because I really would be annoyed if our team gets like 7 wins again. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. 12-5. We win the division. We win the NFC South. Our first NFC South title. As authentic as you'll ever. Like, crushed it. Why went like 41-8 over the Bucs. They always, like, the Bucs beat us almost every single year that I was simming. I just straight up simmed the playoffs. Is there something? Is there more to it when you set your goal to win the Super Bowl that like it actually makes your team play like they should? We have the top 5 defense, number 1 overall defense in the NFL. Looking at our player stats here this season, Spikes was great. 4,600 yards passing, 39 touchdowns, only 6 picks. 1,400 yards, almost 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns for Kamara. Massive. I mean, there you go. DK Metcalf, 118 catches, 1,600 yards, 10 tutties. 9-6 Michael Thomas, 8-6 Olave. Claypool, 9 touchdowns at tight end. Defensively, Warren led the team in tackles. Bosa took over. 86 tackles, 17 TFLs, 22 sacks. He might be Defensive Player of the Year. 11.5 sacks for Buckner on 16 TFLs. Outstanding. And on the interception front, 6 picks. Marshawn Lattimore. So, like, our good players actually all played good at the same time. Spikes comes in 4th in the MVP race. And the NFC player goes Zeke. Nick Bosa is our Defensive Player of the Year. Spikes Quarterback of the Year. So that likely means if we can find a way to go on a Super Bowl run, he will be an X factor ahead of that Super Bowl matchup. Bosa, D lineman of the year. Lattimore, DB of the year. So we definitely have to, and Lattimore in his case as well, he's on a star. So he'd get back up to a superstar dev if we can go on a legitimate run here. First up in the divisional round, we're going to be having to take on who else? The Bucs. So we're able to handle the Bucs. Closer than it probably should have been, given they were under 500, but also given that they were under 500. We should be happy that we just won the game. Spikes 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, setting up an NFC Championship game against a team that just can't win in the playoffs. I'm not superstitious. I just, Vikings, I don't know if it's ever going to happen for you guys. I dislike the Vikings after how salty they were when we beat them in the NFC Championship game to go and win our Super Bowl. I used to like that team, and then that made me sour on the fan base a little bit. Very sensitive fan base. But there is still a part of me that's like, they're one of the teams, like much like Detroit, the Lions ever going, like, it's almost like Buffalo. Now that Buffalo's kind of good. There's like a side of you that's like, you know what? I can live with the Bills winning the Super Bowl. Same can be said for Minnesota. Hopefully that's not today. They are a 4 seed. We are the 1 seed. Hopefully the better team prevails, and at the buzzer, the Saints have a chance at salvaging this rebuild. And we do. 28-21. Close matchups all the way through. It's not like we're skunking teams. 1-score game. Spikes was great. Protected the football. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Kamara did his job, 92 yards. Michael Thomas, 90 yards. 2 touchdowns there. We had a sack from Bosa and Rivers. No turnovers, but it at least gives us a chance of putting a check mark next to the Saints name here in my little notes binder, and it's going to be strength against strength, best against best, the 1 seed in the NFC, the 1 seed in the AFC, and we are sure as shit grabbing a front row for this matchup. So we have Spikes. I'm pretty sure he should be an X Factor. Oh, he didn't get it. Wow. I thought he would have. I thought he would have gone up to X Factor. That's a little bit of a bummer. So ahead of the Super Bowl, at least as it relates to dev traits. DK went up to Superstar. Olave lost his Superstar. Michael Thomas lost his Superstar. And on the defensive side of the ball, Nash went up to a Superstar. Lattimore didn't do anything. That is all very disappointing. But right now, while we're here, because if we lose this Super Bowl, I'm probably going to be pretty upset. Let's just look at our final stats. See who played very well throughout this rebuild. Spikes, as our relatively still young, but firmly franchised quarterback. 14,000 passing yards, 114 touchdowns to 36 picks. We had 11,000 yards, 119 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, outstanding Hall of Famer. 12,000 yards, 71 touchdowns. Michael Thomas is where his career stands. Kamara, 50, just ridiculous receiving numbers for Kamara. Olave, 4,300 yards receiving, 38 touchdowns so far in his career. Great start. Lattimore finishes with 28 picks. We got over 700 tackles for Pete Warner. On the pass rush standpoint, I mean, boasted a lot of that with the Niners. 24 sacks for Jason Buckner, our superstar pass rusher that we straight up just drafted, which was great. Yeah, I mean, missed seeing what Cam Jordan's totals were, I guess, for sacks. But this is going to be an excellent matchup. This is going to be the 84 overall Chargers going up against the 90 overall Saints. Let's handle business. Let's get this Super Bowl. Let's go, baby. It's our time. I don't even want to see it. I don't want to see my guy next to that Super Bowl because that means we're going to jinx it. So, opening drive. Playing the moments here. We start with a field goal. Our defense gets a stop. And we are back with double field goals. Can we get a touchdown? We do. We get the first touchdown of the game. Our defense is just stifling, but the Chargers get a big-time play there. And I think just very quickly they're going to... you know what? Our defense is hanging tough for the most part. Pretty strong defensive battle. Chargers get the lead just like that. 3rd down and 10 on the 32. This feels like a great opportunity to hop in. See if we can help out the offense here a little bit. In scoring position. Don't want to turn over. I'm really feeling like Claypool Metcalf. We're going to be looking at the right-hand side. One of these guys will be able to get open. And it is Claypool in the middle of the field. Brings it down. And the Saints are in the red zone. Will they be able to finish it off? They are. Get the touchdown. 3-point lead, which they are able to at least kind of carry the tie into the 4th quarter. But a lot of momentum here has been with the Chargers. As we apparently shank a field goal, the Chargers turn the ball over. It is 3rd down in inches. And why aren't we running the ball? You know? Don't we have a certain guy on this team? What are we talking about here? Alvin Kamara, 3rd and inches, follows his blockers. Wow, what a goal line stand, honestly. They're able to break him down, but that's fine because you know what? In this scenario, can I just finish? Let me hop in and play that. I'll play this. You're not be able to get the 1-yard touchdown, but we are going to try to play a little bit of defense here. Keep them out of the end zone. They can get in field goal range. They can do whatever they want. They can dink and dunk. They can utilize the middle of the field. But when push comes to shove, we're going to be able to find a way to get off the field. Let's go, Nick Bosa. 3rd and 60. They have 2 more tries. We're going to pick that off. Oh, great PBU there by the Cookie Monster. It is now 4th down and 16 on the 40. They do have 2 timeouts, so if they do get the first down in the middle of the field, it's not going to be end of the game. But get home! Holy shit, he almost caught that. Holy shit. Whoever that is, was just like David Tyree 2.0. You gotta give credit to our guys for the pass breakup. They're sticking with it. Actually, I think I might have broken a controller if that happened. I wasn't even overly emotionally invested in this. That just would have been fucking ridiculous. But there we go. It goes down as a successful rebuild at the buzz. It doesn't get, I wish it wasn't that hard. And you don't want to be like, oh yeah, when you just suck for 4 years, and in year 5 you put it all together, win the Super Bowl. It feels great. I don't know. I feel like there's a certain element of like, I tried rebuilding this team properly, and it took for me to spend all of my money in the offseason on big free agents for this team to get over the hump, which is not really what you want to see personally. At least personally, I want to see in a rebuild. I'd love to just be able to draft. We drafted well, man. We got a quarterback, franchise quarterback. We got a superstar pass rusher in the draft. But sometimes you need to be able to sprinkle in some big name free agents to get you over the line. And that is exactly what we did here. A successful rebuild. The Saints are Super Bowl champions. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. As always, for all of our Madden 23 uploads, if we can get 1,000 likes, that would be awesome. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below about what team you want to see next. Right now, I've got from the last couple videos, Texans, Commanders might be the direction we go for the next rebuild. But if you want to see something else, make sure you let your voices be known in the comments below. That will do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, till next time, it's your boy C4. And peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.